Hey guys, it's Danny Explosion here today, bringing you guys something different. I'm gonna start a series pretty much where I talk about and reminisce about an album that I have in my collection. So yeah, if you wanna see me review something, just let me know. But today I thought we'd start out with an essential album that is one of the albums that I listened to a while ago and just got absolutely floored by it. We're going to talk about Morbid Angel with Covenant. This was Morbid Angel's third studio album, their first being Altars of Madness and second being Blessed Are the Sick. And this was recorded at More Sound Recording Studios in Tampa, Florida, which is where many artists like, Obituary, Death, Deicide, Sepultura, where many bands just recorded their albums there. This was released in 1993, and the lineup for this is Pete Sandoval on drums, and he's just a legendary death metal drummer. Trey Azagthoth, a really fucking outstanding guitar player when it comes to death metal. And David Vincent, who does vocals and bass on this album. Just a three-man lineup for this, and it's like, wow. I mean, very talented musicians on this record. And this is known to be one of the best-selling albums in death metal, with this selling 150,000 copies, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll get more into that. But this is released on Giant Records. I think it was released originally on Earache, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I remember listening to this album about like 3 years ago, actually, when I picked this up. And I remember it just being one of the heaviest, it was at the time one of the heaviest albums I've ever listened to. I mean, this album just floored me, and this was a blind buy for me, because when I first bought this, I didn't know what Morbid Angel was. I mean, the album cover just looked cool, and I just thought it would be like an awesome death metal album, which it was. What I think why this album stuck out to many people and it just sold so well is because, to me, this is the perfect and the most essential death metal album to get into. Like, if someone wants to get into death metal, there's a good chance I might show this person this album, because this album just shows the variety that a death metal album can have. I mean, this album just shows that, a death metal album can have a lot of variety, is what I'm trying to say. It's like, it's not full speed all the way through. You have tracks like World of Shit, The Promised Land, and God of Emptiness, where it's just slow and doomy, with all kind of different vocal styles that David Vincent used, especially on God of Emptiness. And Trey Azagthoth stepping away from using the E-flat tuning on his guitars and incorporating B tuning on I think 7-string guitars on this album, which adds a more doomy atmosphere. It makes it more eerie when it has a kind of guitar tone, especially on World of Shit, The Promised Land. But you also have those really fast, pummeling, hard-hitting tracks like Pain Divine, Rapture, Sworn to the Black, Angel of Disease. It's just an essential album. And another thing that really adds to the aggression of this album is Pete Sandoval's drum work. His drum work is just fucking phenomenal on this album. The way the kicks sound, the way that everything sounds in the production of this album is just very well thought out. I mean, you can tell that this album had a lot of thought put into it. This was released 2 years, because I remember Blessed Are the Sick was released back in 1991. This was released in 93, so 2 years after they released Blessed Are the Sick, and they unleashed this album back in 1993. And this is just a perfect and essential death metal album to have, because it's like one of those albums that adds so much variety in like song structures, and it just shows how talented these musicians can be. I mean, what else can I say about this album? This is just a really, really good classic album to have. I mean, I can't really say anything bad about this album. I mean, it's a classic, and it's cherished by pretty much anybody. I mean, everybody in the metal community. And it's in this album probably, well, most people would consider Altars of Madness their best, which I agree, but this is still a really, really good album. I mean, tracks like Pain Divine, Rapture, The Lion's Den, Vengeance is Mine, God of Emptiness, World of Shit, The Promised Land. I mean, a lot of variety and a lot of good tracks on here, and it just shows that, you know, like I said, you can have variety in a death metal album, because most death metal albums at the time were just full speed throughout and just not giving you a break. And when it comes to that, where it's just like, you know, just the same tempo and song structure throughout the entire album, it can tend to get boring and bland sometimes. But this album is just very well planned out and just way ahead of its time. I mean, I just really enjoy this album, and I listen to it from time to time, and it brings back a lot of memories from like middle school and stuff like that. So for Covenant, Morbid Angel, I give this a 90 out of 100. This is just a classic album. So yeah, that was just my first part of the series that I'm starting to do, where I just pick an album from my collection and I talk about it and see what I think about it, because you know what? I like talking about these kinds of albums. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you want. You don't have to. And as always, cheers.